Before I start today's video, a big thank you to all those that have bought me a cup of coffee. So it helps me keep producing, it helps the editing team, the cameraman and all those, you know. Thank you very much. So in today's video I'll be doing a section on gardening. I spoke earlier about putting up a metal structure over where we sit and have coffee and that. Wanted a bit of dapple shade, so I've come up with a design that I think will work if I've done my maths correctly. It's with the barrel loop and the rebar reinforcing metal. We're gonna in a moment put that up and then start wiring it all together. So once I've got the 4 columns up with the loop at the top, I'm going to start tying it in with extra rebar. I'm going to put some arched doorways in where the paths come in and out, and then once that's all wired and secured strongly, I'm going to plant up the base with maybe some jasmines and some honeysuckles and things like that. And then in the top loop I'm going to get some bird feeders and suspend them from there, because it's where the birds normally come and feed and, you know, eat their fat balls. So hopefully they'll come back. They're watching me now actually, they're all in the hedges. So, and also today I shall be painting the bird baths black. They're looking a little bit shabby, so we'll tie the colour scheme in with black. Other ironwork I've got around the property is black, so we'll give those a lick of paint as well and get it looking pretty, and then sit back and enjoy it with a lovely cup of tea. Let's crack on. Got my safety glasses on. Always important when you're using wire and steel, they're quite springy. What I'm doing here, I've drilled the holes around the perimeter of the ring, inserted the rebar in. Now what I'm doing is cutting some wire, and I'm just going to loop it round and then secure each piece into the ring. So when I lift it up, these pieces stay put inside the ring, and then the bar will go into each corner. I'm going to see how it feels. If it feels secure enough, I'll probably cut some little metal pegs, bang them in and then tie to them. If not, I might drill out some concrete blocks and insert into there. So we'll just see how it goes. I haven't done this particular project before, so I think it'll be okay. So yeah, let's do it. Gloves are always important. Save your fingers. I can reinforce it afterwards with a stronger wire if need be. This is just to hold it temporary so I can get the framework set up. There's no handbook for this one, just your imagination. Just loop it round. You could maybe use heavy duty cable ties just to get it in position, then use the wire afterwards. I haven't got any cable ties, so. Little set of ladders here. I'm going to be going up these in a moment. Just get a feel for the height and the length. Just play it by ear once I go up there and see how it sits. I'm just going to start lifting the structure into its position now. Fingers crossed, I've done my trigonometry correctly and it should all go up lovely. So here we go. These are just temporary supports at the moment. Well, not too far off of being level. A little bit of tweaking. You get the general idea. Pleased with that. I'm going to construct an archway. Not sure about that side, but definitely this side as well. Maybe put an archway in here or that side, I'm not sure yet. That'll be closed in across the back. So yeah, it worked. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to link each corner with a 10mm iron rod, bring it into the corner, and as this vertical piece comes down into it, these are going to go to the tie rods at the bottom. That's going to go on the bottom one, and this is going to be wired in to this vertical. So there's going to be one this side, there's going to be one that side. That'll hold the base of the frame all in and lock it in. Once I've done that, then I'll start working on the middle section, start putting some cross braces in, and then that'll make it nice and rigid and stiff. So I better get this corner sorted out straight away. So that's all the base secured now with all the metal rods around the bottom, nice and secure and tight. It can't fall over. It just leaves me to have some lunch, and then after that I'll come back and I'll start putting some diagonals across to make it a bit stiffer. It's looking good. Right, I was just having my lunch and I could hear a racket, so I've just come out the back to see what it is. Ah yes. As you can see behind me, they're mulching up all the trees, so soon I should have some mulch to put down. Right, as you can see, as promised, behind me I've got the lovely wood chip from all my apple and pear trees. So that'll be going down onto my garden. Smells delicious. That should keep the weeds at bay, so lovely. Let's get some down. Good morning everybody. I had to stop filming yesterday. The noise from the tractors doing the mulching of all the trees, it was too loud, I couldn't film, so I had to carry on with the structure, so forgive me for that. Just basically talk you through what I've done. Secured the bottom with some heavy duty tyre pieces that go around the base. It's all locked in, the four corners are all locked in solid. Then I've started bringing over arches, and this seat here, because it sat quite a way back, I extended it out and put a solid bar over here. This will be planted up across the back here, so a bit of privacy that side. And yeah, it's coming together lovely. So we put these arch pieces in, just secure them with some wire, and then what I'll do, I'll plant the bases up with the climbers. Not quite sure yet whether it's going to be a jasmine or a honeysuckle. And the same this side. So yeah, eventually it'll all grow over and give us some nice dappled shade. And my next job, excuse me, will be going to the rear of the property, and all those trees that were mulched down, I'm going to load the wheelbarrows up, bring it round, and then start filling up this area with some mulch, just to keep the weeds at bay. Probably do about, in places, sort of 3 to 4 inches. It's better to do a small area correctly and deep than a thin layer everywhere, because that doesn't really work. So we'll build it up to about 3 or 4 inches, and then we'll just move around the garden. I've got probably about 3 or 4 cubic meters around the back, so this should be more than ample for what I want to do in this area. So yeah, better get cracking. So I've just popped up to the shops to get a baguette for lunch, and there's a stall there set out with all plants, so I couldn't resist. I've got these 3 lovely different coloured lupins, which are very classic for a cottage garden. So I'll just be popping those in, and they'll bush up lovely. I've got lupin seeds that I planted before and they've come up, so it's a good soil for them. Yeah, let's get these in. It's always important, if you can, is not to tread on the soil and compact it. I normally try and tread on some stones, and that way you don't compact the soil too much. I've also watered them as well in the pots. Once you plant bulbs and things like that in there, either put a marker in the ground, or with your phone take a picture of where you planted the stuff, because sometimes a week or so later when you go to put new plants in, it looks like there's nothing there. You dig a hole and you hit the bulb, so it's always a handy tip. I've learned that for experience. Another handy tip for when you're digging a hole is you can always sort of pop the plant out and just use the plant pot to gauge the depth. It looks a little bit still too high, so a little bit more digging out. tease the roots out at the base a little bit and encourage them to go out further. Pop it in and give that a good water. Yeah. Give it a good soak because that gets rid of all the air pockets around the roots. That's one in, two to go. Be good for the garden. The trees have never been sprayed or anything, so it's all pesticide free. There's hardly any food miles. A couple of metres into my garden. There we go, barrow number 2. Right, like I say, it's important to get it down quite thick, sort of 3 to 4 inches, as opposed to thinly everywhere, because it doesn't work then. So, hands are normally the best thing to do it round plants with, so this will help hold the moisture in as well, so it's not just for weeds, it's moisture, and yeah, it looks nice as well. Not strictly cottage garden material, but I suppose they did use stuff like this if it's close to hand, and seems a shame not to use it. So all the mulch is down now. I've got a nice good thick layer down. If it does settle down different heights in different places, we'll just top it off. I've got plenty out the back there. All the main plants are in. We've got the structural pieces in place. We've used some stepping stones made out of the trunks that we've had out the back there. When the apple trees were cut down, we had them sliced up. I'm going to start using those as stepping stones in various places, so that's a nice little touch. So yeah, it's all taking shape. Be nice to see it all grow. So the next job for today is painting the bird feeder and the bird bath. They're looking a little bit shabby at the moment, so I'm going to give them a light rub down and a lick of black paint, I think, and it'll pick up with all the other metal work I've got around the property. It's all done in black, so let's get going. So I'll just give it a rough sand down with a wire brush, get all the loose stuff off. Just going to start painting it now, so excuse me while I get cracking. So I've finished painting it now, so the nice covering of black rust-proof paint, so that will keep it going for another few years. I just hope the birdies appreciate it. A big thank you to all those that bought me a cup of coffee. Julie Hopel, Danny Pelland, Steve Harris, One Moonbeam, Damara Excel, Elaine C. O'Donnell, Raquel Torres, Stephanie Stark, Eugene Barrington, John Blizzard, Abby Susan Graham, Kim B, Nature Inspired. Oh, and also the 3 anonymous donors. Much appreciated.